Whoa. Listeners, I'm glad you could join me out here in space. I'm observing something that, quite honestly, we can't even see. But don't get too close to it. Don't get too close. So there's something, if we get too close, that could be dangerous. Yet, we can't even see it. I'll explain it to you here after our theme song. What I was describing that we cannot see is called a black hole. Have you ever heard of a black hole in space? Let me explain a little bit, and then I'll point out to you what it is that we can't see, but we can tell is there. It'll make sense as we talk about it. A black hole is a place in space, outer space, where gravity has become so strong that nothing can escape, not even light. That's why we can't see it. It's so powerful, it's so dense that not even light can escape. The mass of a black hole is very compact, tightly compact into a little tiny point. The middle of the black hole, where all the mass is called a singularity. Single means one, so a singularity is like a very focused point, very compact. So as I was saying, they're so dense. Let's back up a little bit. The more mass that an object has, the more gravity it has. That's why the gravity on the moon is not as much as the gravity that Earth has. If you go to the moon, it will pull you toward itself, the center of itself, some, but not as much as the moon. No. Not as much as the Earth. So, if you go to the sun, which has a lot of mass, it would have a much stronger gravity because it has more mass. I, Moose Straw Matt, have gravity, but because I don't have very much mass compared to the moon, the Earth, or the sun, I'm not going to pull anything toward me. You even have gravity, but it's so small, it's so insignificant that you can't even measure it. So a black hole, because it has so much mass, we're talking in some cases multiple suns worth of mass, that it's going to draw everything in, including light. If you shine a flashlight up away from Earth, you can. The light can escape Earth's gravitational pull easily, but a black hole doesn't work like that. Its gravitational pull is so dense, so strong, that light cannot get out. No! And it's pulled back in. That's what makes them invisible. No light reflects off of a black hole. No light escapes. It's simply this dark, mysterious spot in the sky. It makes me wonder, and it probably makes you wonder, if they're invisible, then how does anyone know they're there? Aha! The answer is, since scientists can observe what's happening around a black hole, how it influences the stars around it, they can observe the effects of the black hole on other objects in space and deduce that it is there. Apparently, fairly bizarre things happen around black holes because of the intense gravity and because light cannot escape. Even down to the quantum level, what's happening is pretty wild. Now, if we back up, we might even wonder, what creates a black hole? Are we in danger of being sucked into a black hole? Well, that's two separate questions. Let's start with the first one. A large star may explode. That's called a supernova. If there is enough mass, it collapses back on itself, down to that very small point, the singularity, and it creates a black hole. These black holes can grow even larger than they originally are, as they absorb more and more stars around them. It's like a giant vacuum that could keep going, depending on how much it sucks up. Imagine your vacuum sucking up something, and the more it sucks up, the larger it gets, and the more powerful it gets, and then it sucks up more and more and more. Well, a black hole can do that to a certain extent. At some point, it runs out of things to suck up, and it stops. That's how a black hole is formed, from a supernova, from a giant star collapsing on itself. Interestingly, black holes don't last forever. They eventually sort of fizzle and evaporate, and their energy returns to the universe. How kind of them. Now, some black holes are so small that scientists think that the smaller black holes are the size of an atom. This would obviously be the very small ones. One tiny atom. It's so small you can't even see it with your eyes, even if you held it in your hand. However, if you were that close to it, so you could hold it, you would be sucked into that black hole, and you would no longer exist. Goodbye, listeners. Goodbye, Moose Jaw Man. We're all being sucked into a black hole. This is why it's so important that we keep our distance. We're out here in space, but we don't want to get too close. So back to that second question, are we in danger? Well, interestingly enough, we have a black hole at the center of our galaxy. Some scientists think there is a black hole at the middle of every galaxy. And according to what we can observe, there is one at the center of our galaxy. Who knew we had a black hole in our galaxy? It even has a name, Sagittarius A. I like to call it Saggy for short. Hey Saggy, how are you doing? Have you sucked up any other stars recently? While things in space seem fixed, they're not really. If a star is traveling past a black hole, it can get looped around, kind of sucked in and looped around, almost like, imagine something getting sucked into a whirlpool. It doesn't go straight in, it kind of loops around and around and around, closer and closer and closer. Well, a star, if it gets close enough, or if it's the right mass, it can be sucked in partly. It can actually be broken apart, and the star can be ripped apart into billions and trillions of photons and particles, and they loop around and around the black hole, like dumping out a packet of Kool-Aid mix and seeing it float in bunches of areas around a whirlpool. That's basically what a black hole can do to a star. It gets sucked in closer and closer and closer, and scientists can observe this. And what they see is basically this black center and the star broken apart, spread around, circling around this black center, and they, in a way, can see a black hole because of the evidence of what's happening around. There's one more thing about black holes. This is from kids.nationalgeographic.com, and this is one of those bizarre things. Here I'm quoting, "The intense gravity near a black hole makes time behave in strange ways. If an astronaut left his spacecraft to explore a black hole up close, he'd see the hands on his watch ticking at normal speed." Okay, that seems fine. But if anyone back on the spacecraft could observe the astronaut's watch from far away, they'd see its hands slow down as the spacewalker got closer to the black hole. When the spacewalker returned to the spaceship after an hour-long spacewalk, years would have passed for those aboard the spacecraft. So, the closer you get to a black hole, the slower time goes. So listeners, now you see why we need to stay away from that black hole. If you look, you can kind of see the star broken apart and that black center. Listener, stop, you're getting too close. Stop swimming through space. No! No! Can you still hear me? Oh, good. There are some listeners still here. One of our listeners got sucked in to the black hole. We've got to get them out of there. I don't know if this is going to work. This is new territory for sure for Moose Jaw Matt. What do we have? A rope. Here, I'm going to toss this rope in. It's a really long one. I'm going to toss it into the black hole, and maybe they can grab on and we can pull them out. It would be a shame to lose a listener at this point in the episode. Okay, will you help me throw the rope? Okay, grab it. Ready. 1, 2, 3. Throw it. There goes the rope. Yes, the black hole's pulling it in. Hold on tight. It has a strong gravity. Come on. I don't know if there's anybody on it or not, but I think it's time to pull. Ready? Pull. 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 Yeah. I think there's somebody on it. It's the other listener. Pull, faster. We have a long way to pull. It's only a couple thousand light years away. Okay, listeners, thank you for helping me pull this other one out. We're going to keep rescuing this one, and then we're going to get back to Earth. And, yeah. I'm Moose Jaw Matt, and I'm getting tired. Until next time, stay away from black holes. Bye. Actually, before we cut to any song, I have my list out here with me. Okay, let's take a look. It's convenient. I pulled this list out of my pocket here in space. There are many people to thank for supporting us on the podcast. Caleb and Abby, Joy, Eden, and Caleb. Kendall, Sophia, Morgan, Barnabas, Noah, Avery, Ava and Avon, and finally, Jack and Alistair. Whew. It makes me wonder, are any of these people that I'm thanking there, near the black hole that we're rescuing? Let me hold up these binoculars. I happen to have some binoculars out here in space too. When it's a podcast, you can do anything you want. Okay, I'm looking. Gadzooks, it's definitely a listener. They're on the rope. Let's keep pulling. Ready? Heave! 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 I'm tired. Noah, I'm exhausted. This episode is for you. Noah, you're the one that got pulled into the black hole. It's time to rescue you, Noah. Hold on! We're gonna keep pulling for about 600 years. Noah, I also see it's your birthday. What a terrible way to spend your birthday, getting sucked into a black hole. We're going to rescue you. Just hold on. And happy birthday. We'll save you, Noah. We'll save you. Okay, listeners, thank you for helping me. That's double time. Double time. Here we go. There we go. There we go. And until next time, keep exploring your world.